वाहे गुरु वाहे गुरु वाहे गुरु जी वाहे। धनासरी महला पहला आरती एक ओंकार सतगुर प्रसाद। कैसी आरती होए कैसी आरती, कैसी आरती होए कैसी आरती, कैसी आरती होए कैसी आरती। पवखंडना तेरी आरती, पवखंडना तेरी आरती। अनहता शब्द वाजंत बेरी, कैसी आरती होए कैसी आरती। गगन में थाल रव चंद दीपक बने, गगन में थाल रव चंद दीपक बने। तारका मंडल जनक मोती, तारका मंडल जनक मोती। धूप मन आन लो पवन चवरो करे, धूप मन आन लो पवन चवरो करे। सगल बन राय फुलंत ज्योति, सगल बन राय फुलंत ज्योति। कैसी आरती हो कैसी आरती। पवखंडना तेरी आरती, पवखंडना तेरी आरती। अनहत्ता शब्द वाजंत पेरी, कैसी आरती होए कैसी आरती। सैस तव नैन नन नैन है तोय को, तव नैन नन नैन है तोय को। सैस मूरत नन्ना एक तो ही, सैस पद बिमल नन एक पद गंध बिन। सैस पद बिमल नन एक पद गंध बिन। सैस तव गंध एव चलत मोही, सैस तव गंध एव चलत मोही। कैसी आरती हो सब में जोत जोत है, सोए तिसके चानन, सब में चानन होए। गुर साखी जोत परगट होए, गुर साखी जोत परगट होए। जो तिस पावै सो आरती होए। हर चरण कमल मकरंद लोभित मनो, अन दिन मोहे आई प्यासा। कृपा जल दे नानक सारंग को, होए जाते तेरे नाम वासा। होए जाते तेरे नाम वासा। कैसी आरती हो, कैसी आरती हो, कैसी आरती। पवखंडना तेरी आरती, पवखंडना तेरी आरती। अनहता शब्द वाजंत बेरी, कैसी आरती हो, कैसी आरती, कैसी आरती, कैसी आरती। नाम तेरो आरती मजन मुरारे हर के, नाम तेरो केस नाम तेरो आरती मजन मुरारे हर के। नाम बिन झूठे सगल पसारे, नाम तेरो आसनो, नाम तेरो रसा। नाम तेरो केसरो लै छिटकारे, नाम तेरा अम्बला, नाम तेरो चंदनो। कस जपे नाम ले तुझे को चारे, वाहिगुरु नाम तेरा दीवा, नाम तेरो बाती। नाम तेरो तेल लै माहे पसारे, नाम तेरे की जोत लगाई। पयो जे आरो पवन सगलारे, नाम तेरो तागा, नाम फूल माला। पार अठारे सगल जोठारे, तेरो किया तुझे ग्यार को। नाम तेरा तू ही चवर डुलारे, 10 अठा 68 चारे खान। ए है वरदान है सगल संसारे, कह रविदास नाम तेरो आरती। सतनाम है हर भोग तुहारे, धूप दीप कृत साज आरती। वार न जाऊं कमलापति, मंगला हर मंगला नित मंगल। राजा राम राय को, उत्तम दियरा निर्मल बाती। तू ही निरंजन कमलापति, राम भगत रामानंद जाने। पूरन परमानंद बखाने, मदन मूरत पैतारे गोबिंदे। सैन बने पज परमानंदे, मदन मूरत पैतारे गोबिंदे। सुन संध्या तेरी देव देवा कर, अदपद आद समाई। सिद्ध समाध अंत नहीं पाया, लाग रहे शरणाई। देहो आरती हो पुरख निरंजन सतगुर पूजो पाई। वाहिगुरु ठाडा ब्रह्मा निगम विचारे अलख न लखिया जाई। तत तेल नाम किया बाती दीपक दे उजियारा। जोत लाए जगदीश जगाया बूझे बूझन हारा। पंचे शब्द अनाहत बाजे संगे सारंग पानी। कबीर दास तेरी आरती की निरंकार निर्वाणी। जी गोपाल तेरा आरता जी गोपाल तेरा आरता। जो जन तुमरी भगत करन ते तिनके काज सवारता। दाल सीधा मांगो कियो हमरा खुशी करे नित जियो। पुनिया छाटन निका अनाज मंगो सत सीका। गऊ पैस मंगो लावेरी एक ताजन तुरी चंगेरी। कर की हन चंगी जी जन तन्ना लेवै मंगी। जी गोपाल तेरा आरता जी गोपाल तेरा आरता। भूखे भगत न कीजै यह माला अपनी लीजै। हो मांगो संतन रेना मैं नाही किसी का देना। माधो कैसे बने तुम संगे आप न देओ तले हो मंगे। दोय सिर मांगो चूना पाओ कियो संग लूना। अध सिर मांगो दाले मोको दोनों भक्त जिवाले। खाट मांगो चौपाई सिरहाना अवरत लाई। ऊपर को मांगो खीदा तेरी भगत करे जन थींदा। मैं नाही कीता लबो एक नाम तेरा मैं पबो। कह कबीर मन मान्या तो हर जानिया। जी गोपाल तेरा आरता जी दयाल तेरा आरता। दोहरा लोप चंड का होए गई सुरपत को दे राज। दानव मार अपेख कर कीने संतन काज। याते प्रसन्न पए हैं महामुन देवन के तप में सुख पावे। यज्ञ करे एक बेद रे भव ताप हरे मिल ध्यान लावे। झलर ताल मृदंग उपंग रुबाब लिए सुर साज मिलावे। किन्नर गंधर्व गान करे गन जछ अपच्छर नृत्य दिखावे। शंखन की तुन कंटन की कर फूलन की बरखा बरखावे। आरती कोट करे सुर सुंदर पेख पुरंदर के बल जावे। दानत दक्षन देके पर दक्षन पाल में कुंकुम अक्षत लावे। होत कोलाहन देवपुरी मिल देवन के कुल मंगल गावे। देवन के कुल मंगल गावे। दोहरा ऐसे चंड प्रताप ते देवन बढ़ियो प्रताप। तीन लोक जय जय करे ररे नाम सत जाप। हे रव हे सस हे करुणानिध मेरी अभय बिनती सुन लीजै। और ना मांगत हो तुम ते कछ चाहत हो चित में सोई कीजै। सस्तन स्यों अत हिरण पीतर जूझ मरो तो साच पति जय। संत सहाय सदा जग माए कृपा कर श्याम ए है वर दीजै। कृपा कर श्याम ए है वर दीजै। कृपा कर श्याम ए है वर दीजै। अस कृपान खंडो खड़ग तुबक तबर अर तीर। सैफ सरोही सहथी यह हमारे पीर। तीर तुही सैथी तुही तबर तरवार, नाम तिहारो जो जपै पए सिंध पव पार। काल तुही काली तुही तेग अर तीर, तुही निशानी जीत की आज तुही जगवीर। देह शिवावर मोहे ए है शुभ कर्मन ते कब हूँ न डरूं अर सो जब जाए लरो, निश्चय कर अपनी जीत करूं। अर सिखूं हो अपने ही मन को ए लालच हो गुण तो चरो। जब आवगी ओध निधान बने अत हीरन में तब जुझ मरो। दे असीस सब सुर नार सुधार के आरती दीप जगायो। फूल सुगंध सो अक्षत दक्षन जक्षन जीत को गीत सो गायो। धूप जगाए कै शंख बजाए कै शीस नेवाए कै बैन सुनायो। हे जग माए सदा सुखदाय ते सब को काए बड़ो जस पायो। अखंड बेहंडन खलदल खंडन अत्रन मंडन बर बंडन भुज दंड अखंडन तेज प्रचंडन जोत मंडन पान प्रबंध सुख संता करणं दुर्मत दर्णं किलविख हरणं अस शरणं। जय जय जग कारण शिष्ट योपारण मम प्रीत पारण जय देगन। मम प्रीत पारण जय देगन मम प्रीत पारण जय देगन। रोगन ते अर सोगन ते जल जोगन ते वो बात बचावे। शस्त्र अनेक चलावत काओ तऊ तन एक ना लागन पावे। राखत है अपनो कर दे कर पाप सबूना पेटन पावे। और की बात कहाँ कह तो सो पेट ही के पट बीच बचावे। और की बात कहाँ कह तो सो पेट ही के पट बीच बचावे। जिथे अस्त्र नामं नमस्कार तामं जिथे अस्त्रं पेयं नमस्कार तेयं। जिथे अस्त्र नामं नमस्कार तामं जिथे अस्त्रं पेयं नमस्कार ते। चतर चक्रवर्ती चतर चक्र पुक्ते स्वयं भव स्वयं सर्वदा सर्वजुक्ते। दुकालं प्रणासी दयालं स्वरूपे सदायंग संगे अपंगम विभूते। पाए गए जब ते तुमरे सब ते को आख तरे नहीं आन्यो। राम रहीम पुराण पुराण अनेक कहे मत एक न मान्यो। सिमृत शास्त्र वेद सब बहु भेद कहे हम एक न जान्यो। सिरियस पान कृपा तुमरी कर मैं न कयो सब तोहे बखान्यो। मैं न कयो सब तोहे बखान्यो। दोहरा सगल द्वार को छाड़ के गयो तुहारो द्वार। बाएं गहे की लाज अस गोविंद दास तुहार। सगल द्वार को छाड़ के गयो तुहारो द्वार। बाएं गहे की लाज अस गोविंद दास तुहार। वाहिगुरु जी का खालसा वाहिगुरु जी की फतेह।
ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਧੰਨ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਗੁਰੂ ਗ੍ਰੰਥ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀ ਗਰੀਬ ਨਿਵਾਜ ਸੱਚੇ ਪਾਤਸ਼ਾਹ ਮਾਲਕ ਇਹ ਸਭਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਸਮਾਂ ਬਖਸ਼ੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਚਰਨਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਬਹਿਣ ਵਾਸਤੇ, ਸਤ ਸੰਗਤ ਦੀਆਂ ਘੜੀਆਂ ਬਖਸ਼ੀਆਂ ਸਭਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ। Guru Sahib Ji have blessed us to all be sat here today in their Pavitr Charan. But Sangat Ji, before we start, before we sing the next Shabad, before we go into any vichara, the benti that Das does now, wherever we go, let's try and change the way we come together as Sangat. Satguru Ji Paach Ji say to us that aab ho bhaine gal mil hai. Guru Sahib Ji say to us that aab ho bhaine, bhaine means sisters. So they're saying to us, come together as sisters, things don't freak out. Sareyan vaste hi hai. Because it's obviously talking to us internally. It's talking to us from that place where beyond identifying with our body and gender. And it's saying that come together collectively to create this vibration which is called Sangat. Sangat is a collective vibration that we all create, because we all come here with a similar longing. Some slightly different. It doesn't mean it's exactly the same. Slight differences, but very similar. So because we all come here with that similar vibration of wanting to connect on a deeper level, that's called Sangat. So first benti is that this time that we have together today, let's not make it into something that you've come to just watch, something that you've just come to only listen to, but be actually a part of. So to be a part of something, so I understand those of you for reasons where COVID is concerned and you feel that little cautious and you might want to sit in a space where you're comfortable, but if that isn't a concern for you, so my first benti is, let's all come and sit together as much as possible so we can do this together. So my benti to my bhainan, my sisters are, because Sangat, there's not a lot of Sangat, come and sit over here and let's do this together. Apa Sangat karna aaye hain, apa Sangat ikatthiyan ne karni hai, and I'm a part of the Sangat. I'm not here to perform. I'm not here to look down on anyone, talk to anyone, looking down at someone. We're come here to do something together. And we're all here, like I said, with a similar goal, to connect at a deeper level, to get some questions answered, and I am too. So, and I know there's quite a few of you that are taking support of the wall. If you're in need of the wall, then please do stay by the wall, because you need that wall for physical reasons and ailments, and that's absolutely fine. But if you think you can do without the wall, then please come and sit here and join us in doing Sangat today. And what I'd like to do is introduce everyone. And remember, I always say to the Sangat that there's no line here that you can't cross. And a lot of the time, for some reason or another, the Sangat ends up thinking that there's a line here, and if we cross that line, it's bomb ban jana hai. Seriously, there's no line here that you cross, and then there's an explosion and bomb's going to go off. Right? So just come closer. Right? Seriously, I'm going to even move the vajra away so I feel like there's nothing between us. Right? can somebody come and play Shana with us, please? Can we have a Shana person? Shana person? Anyone for Shana? There you go. मैं नाल आप लैके आया बर्मिंगम तो शैने देख लो दूरों आए आ ये किसी ने भेंट कीते सके साडे दीवान दे विच उन्हें देखा कि इक्को ही पचारे बजाउंदे रहिंदे आ फिर किसी ने आके भेंटा कर दित्ती शैने सानू बख्श दित्ते दात ते नाल आपां गाउणा आ इकट्ठियां ने we're going to sing together and if I can do बेनती sing are you able to bring Shabad OS up on the screen so ਐਵੇਂ ਹੁਣ मेरा इत्थे चेहरा देखी जाना Let's get the Bani up on the screen so that we can all follow the Bani. And you can see that we might translate the Gurbani slightly different to what you might see coming up as well. And that's always interesting to learn as well. How are we going to do that? All right, so I'm still not like fully happy. I'm still like, let's come even closer. Let's do this together. And we're going to do this more regularly as well. Hopefully every, anything like about every 6 weeks or so. So get used to this. That's better. Gurbani na. We kitna khillar ke baithe si sare. Aab ho bhane, gal mil hai. Mil ke karhe kahani. So we're all going to come together and do this and create that vibration. Because we're not here to only talk about meditation and Sikhi, we're here to experience something. That's the whole point of Sangat. Otherwise we can just do everything online. So we're going to sing a Shabad by Guru Ram Das Ji. And this Shabad in Sri Amritsar Sahib, a Gursik went to Guru Sahib Ji. They were all sitting there. Kisi ne puch liya Guru Sahib Ji nu. गुरु रामदास जी सच्चे पातशाह जी बैठे ने तो किसी सिख ने पूछ लिया महाराज बहुत ने जड़े अपने आप नू सिख कहंदे ने there's many of us that call ourselves a Sikh and that's fine and so that we all can like I said relate to each other and we just get to know each other a little bit and so let's start off with that question. If somebody asks you a question, if you have to fill out a form, who's sitting here, and remember there's no judgment here, and if you don't, that's absolutely, if I'm just trying to get to know each other a little bit. Just, it'll help you to understand this Shabad. Who identifies, and if you have to fill out a form or anything, identifies as a Sikh? And if you don't, that's absolutely fine. Okay, it's not here to judge anyone. So somebody came and asked Guru Ram Das Ji, because Guru Ram Das Ji said that there's many that come here into the Guru's darbar and they said, Sevak Sikh Pujan Sab Avah. They said there's those that come here that identify as Sikh and some that don't identify as Sikh but just come here as Sevak. They come here to serve in some form of way. Because there was many of those and it was very common back in them days up until not that long ago, even up to 20, 30 years ago. And who's heard of a beautiful writer by the name of Bhai Veer Singh? Who's heard of Bhai Veer Singh? Okay, so there's a few of you that have heard of Bhai Veer Singh. Bhai Veer Singh writes that, in India, even up to early 1900s, up to even 1950 odd, everyone used to come and listen to Kirtan. It didn't matter if they're identified as Muslim, Sikh, Hindu, but everybody used to come together and sing together. It was a beautiful feeling. Whether it was somebody identified as a Christian, it didn't matter. They came and sang together. It was amazing, it was beautiful. So Guru Ram Das Ji said, Sevak Sikh, Pujan Sab Ave. They all come here to worship in their own way. Sevak Sikh Pujan Sab Ave hai. Sab Gav hai. Har Har Uttam Bani. They said they come here. Is somebody going to keep up with me? Somebody going to do the Pangti? All right, so we're going through Sevak Sikh Pujan Sab Ave hai. Who's doing the Bani? Okay, okay, ठीक है. All right. So let's keep up with this. Sevak Sikh Pujan Sab Aveh Sab Gaveh Har Har Uttam Bani. Don't worry, don't focus too much on the screen, just focus on what I'm saying. Sab Gaveh Har Har Uttam Bani. So what's Guru Sahib Ji saying here? They all come, whether somebody just identifies as a servant, come here to do some form of service, a sect, or, and this is Sab Gaveh Har Har Uttam Bani. What do they all come here and do? What do they do here collectively? Har Sab Gaveh Har Har Uttam Bani. They all come here and sing this Bani, these words that are so Uttam, that are said to be so divine. But Guru Sahib Ji said that even though everyone comes here and might identify as Sikh, they come here and worship in their own way. Sevak Sikh Pujan Sab Aveh Sab Gaveh Har Har Uttam Bani. Gavya Sunaya Tin Ka Har Thaye Pave Jin Satgur Ki Agya Sat Sat Kar Mani. But Guru Sahib Ji said, whose singing is truly honored and accepted by God, that take what they were singing, the Guru's word, and make it sat, make it true. The Bani that is true, these words that are their truth, but they make it true in their lives. They said, then they can see the fruits. That makes sense, right? Okay. So, somebody turned around and said to Guru Ram Das Ji, let's just go with that for a bit then, before we get to that show. Let's just go with that. What does Guru Sahib mean here? So, it's amazing, we come here and sing together. But it could have an amazing, profound effect on our life, just coming here and singing together. But sometimes when we go back home, we end up back into our default settings. Who experiences that sometimes? Yeah? Like you hear and you think, that's it. I'm done. Like my life is just in devotion now. I'm going to live my every moment in devotion. I'm done. What I used to do, that's it. I'm sorted. We go back into our default setting. It happens, doesn't it? But the Guru wants us to take it back and embed it, what we're singing. So singing is a way for us to embed something inside of us. The Guru gives us the formula of how to meditate, of how to embed something inside of us. And what's the formula the Guru's given to us? How? Gaviye, suniye, man, rakhiye, pao. So, first what do we do? Gaviye. First step is what we come here and do, we sing together. We come here and sing together. Gaviye. Why? Because when we sing, how many times have you done this in your lives? You've heard a track and you're still humming it throughout the day. Who can relate to that? Yeah? Right. Who can relate to them and think, oh my God, I can't get it out of my head now. I'm thinking, I don't want that in my head. Yeah? So that's why Gaviye. We come here and sing together. It's the magic of singing and it embeds it into us. But then Suniye. But we sing what we're doing. Suniye can be translated here consciously. That we're allowing what we're singing to absorb inside, to be absorbed inside of us. And then, what's the third thing? Man rakhiye, pao. Yes. It's with a pabba, kanna, and uda ude no onkad pao. And pao translates to? Say it out loud. Be confident. Yeah, say it louder, everyone together. No, you're not saying it right. You guys are saying, you're just saying love. Have you ever told someone, I love you? Is that how you say it? So when you're telling your children, you say, oh, but I love you. No, you can say, look, I love you. Is that a bit better? Right, shall we all try it again? So what does pao mean? That's better. it can also be translated to devotion. Devotion comes from love. When we sing here, consciously, with suniye, with that devotion, that's the complete formula. With that complete formula, we take something away and it starts to embed inside of us. And now let me give you an example. Imagine if we were singing a salok of Kabir Ji. So what is Guru Ram Das Ji saying to us here? That you all come here, you worship, you sing, amazing, great. But when is it that your life is going to completely shift and you start to see the true fruits of you singing? So now let's say we were singing the salok of Kabir Ji. Kabir Ji say to us that Jaha Lob Tah Kaal hai, Jeh Khima Teh Aab. Beautiful slok. Kabir Ji says that Jaha Lob is not all at once. I don't want you to fight over the answers like that, right? Right, just one at a time. What's lob? What's lob? Greed, yes, Benji, it's all right. Just be confident. Just say whatever comes to your head, even if it was just, I don't know, swimming. Just say it, it's all right. There's nothing to be shy about, right? Yet, lob is greed. Kabir Ji says, Jaha lob tah kaal hai. What's kaal? What's kaal? Kaal is death. Does that make sense? Where there's greed, there's death. Does that make sense? Does that make sense, Benji? Where there's greed, there's death. Every time you've been greedy, have you died? Anytime somebody got greedy and wanted that next pronta, did they drop dead? It's a simple question. It's not as simple as that, is it? Kaal can also be translated to famine, where there's just nothing left. When we end up in a place of greed, where do you go from greed? There is no way, it's a dead end. We cannot progress in our spirituality when we fall into that trap of greed. What is greed? How would you describe greed? Benji? Always wanting more. There's a little bit more to it to finish it off. Always wanting more because you're never satisfied, but what are you expecting from it? You actually are expecting to be satisfied. But has anybody ever been satisfied with accumulating more of something external? Who's ever thought here when they have a child they'll feel complete, but then sometime later they still felt they've got more to achieve? Who's ever felt that? It's not easy to admit these things, is it? And then we're still not complete. How many times did somebody say, but if I get the sun, it'll all be okay? You get the sun. And then look, everyone's thinking like, oh look, they're all right. They've got a complete family because they've got a daughter and a son. And if we had that, then we'll be complete. It doesn't work like that, does it? So it's living a life of death. You're almost dead, the Guru says. Because actually, you do want to feel complete, but you're looking in the wrong place. Some of us are conscious that we want to be complete. Some of us are unconscious that we want to become complete. True? Everyone here, okay, put your hands up if you're making a conscious effort to become miserable. You never know. Anyone? anyone want to have a shot at being happy? Most people, whatever you're doing in your lives, you want some form of satisfaction, happiness. You want just to feel, true. Some of us are consciously trying to get that, and some of us are unconsciously trying. That's not my topic today though. So Kabir ji slok, Jaha lob teh kaal. Because you've come a long way to get to greed. You've gone through a process. Did you know you went through a process to get to greed? What was the process you went through? It started with your senses. Your eyes captured something. And you thought, ye sona hai. Right? And that sona could be munda or a suit, whatever, right? Doesn't matter. Gaddi, car, person. Oh, that's nice. Because you saw it with your eyes first, and your brain then had a thought. Whatever you experience through your senses, whether that be your eyes, your ears, you hear something, you smell something, you touch something, you taste something, that's now your experience through your senses, that becomes your memory. From your memory, you have a thought. Your thought says, kinni soni gaddi. That's nice, right? Imagine if I had one of them. That thought could look something like that, right? Like somebody could have thought, you know what, I'll feel complete once I meet Baljit Singh, and then they meet him, they think, oh my God, I should not have met him. And he was better, way better on the videos. Yeah? And then they have to go through that, and then, get therapy for being so disappointed. Anyway, look, Sangat Ji, it's your senses are your experience. From your experience it becomes your memory. From your memory you have a thought. From your thought it becomes a want. Mammy lani ya mummy gaddi. We're all doing it in some form of way. We're saying, yeah, I could do with one of them. So there's the want, what we call the desire. And then you obtain it, you get it, and you think, oh. What we don't realize what's happening is during this period, when you've got the desire and you're chasing it to get it, you're actually, in that time, we think when we obtain it, we have the hit of dopamine in our brain. But actually, as we are actively trying to obtain that thing, we're having a release of dopamine. We're actually excited. And what we don't realize is, when we get it, and we thought it was going to satisfy us and we're going to be happy now, that dopamine, which we're confusing then that pleasure and that chase with happiness, but once you've got it, it doesn't need to be released at that level anymore. So your dopamine levels are, now they chill out a bit. Your serotonin levels in your brain chill out, which is your happy chemical, because it thinks, I've got it now, I don't need to release these chemicals anymore. Is this making sense? Okay. And the guru, and get, you know what happens when we're chasing something and that dopamine's being released? Our brain is constantly trying to get back to what they call as homeostasis, which is like that balanced state. So then it's, when you obtain it, it then calms down, which is when you thought it was going to be spiked. But that's when it calms down, because you've got it now. But guess what? It doesn't go back to your balanced level, because it overcompensates and it tries to help you to balance it back out. It overcompensates to make sure it gets back there. It goes through it. It actually has a little drop first from your balanced level, which the Guru talks about. Harkhang ta sogang. Janamang ta maranang, it's in Sanskriti Slok. Without doing any form of experiments, and studies, the Guru had this insight to the way your brain functions and works. Harkang tasogang. It wasn't that when you get that hit of pleasure, the hark, then you might have that drop. The Guru was sure and said, Harkang ta, 100% sogang, you're going to have a drop. Isn't that amazing? And this is, I just love the way Gurbani, and because you guys were thinking, Eta sanu science diyan galla karan lag paya. You didn't know he was going to come back to the Bani, did you? And that's why I just call most of my talks nowadays connecting to Bani, becoming Gurbani, because it's just bringing it back to Gurbani, that understanding. Harkang ta sogang, janamang ta maranang. It's not like if you're born you might die. Is it? What is it instead? Right, don't be afraid. Ek din mar jana apan. And that's okay. It's true, isn't it? Is it the truth? Janamang ta maranang. If there's birth, there's guaranteed death. In the same way, if there's that spike of pleasure, there's a drop as well. Harkang ta sogang. Isn't it amazing? Guru Arjan Dev Ji giving us this insight. Yeah. And today, I think it's amazing that studies are catching up and are able to talk to us in that language too, and we're able to relate to it in that language as well. Yeah? So now you're there, so there's this drop. When you have that drop, what are you going to try and do? You're going to think you ended up getting the wrong model. Oh no, I wanted this type of child. I mean, iPhone. You wouldn't do it with your child, would you? Now, I just thought my child would sleep through the night. How comes I ended up with that model as well? That cries every hour. So you're thinking, if I just got that type. And what's that called? Greed. See how it works? Makes sense, doesn't it? And what does Kabir say? Where do you go from here? Because you went through a process. Your senses, experience, memory, thought, desire, greed, death. Spiritually, they said, now you're going in circles here. You're going to try and escape. Kabirji says, let me give you a really simple way of escaping. You want to learn it? So now, remember my example. So just coming here and singing and worshipping, how do we worship when we come here? What's the different ways of worshipping? Does Gurbani tell us about different practices of devotion and worship? Some people say, how can I become more devotional? Some people say, I just don't feel that emotion and that sweetness and that love and that compassion. Like, what can I do? Does Gurbani tell us anything, what we can do to be more in touch with devotion? Kar sadhu, Anjali, un, vada hai. The Guru does. The Guru said, if you're struggling to connect and feel that emotion of devotion and love, the Guru says there's certain physical acts you can do to help you. What's one of them? Kar sadhu, come before a sadhu, a true saint that is just in love with God. Come before Guru Granth Sahib Ji. And do what? Anjali. What's Anjali? It's not talking about Angela or anyone like. Is there any Angelas in the room? Probably not. Yeah. No, it's not talking about Angela. It's Anjali. What's Anjali? Anyone? It's when we do this. Put our hands together like this. What we don't realize, our body's so subtle. The moment you do that, it activates your anhata, your heart chakra, which is where your 3 lower chakras and your 3 upper chakras meet. Just try it. Everyone, just with your hands, consciously put them together like this by your heart. Just sit there for a moment. I've not made it up. This is, the Guru's giving us this practice. When you come before Guru Granth Sahib Ji, the Guru says, Kar sadhu anjali pun vatta hai. It's a great, great deed for you to do because it will activate your devotion. And then next, Kar sadhu anjali pun vadda hai, kar dandaut pun vadda. The Guru said, don't stop. He said, now just lie flat like a stick before the Guru. With your complete body, your hands, your arms, your feet flat on the ground, just lie there. But you're thinking, oh, what will Joginder say to me? Is there any Joginders here? Just like, I'm not talking about a specific Joginder, it's just an example. But if I come here and lie flat on the floor here before Guru, what will Joginder say? The Guru said, let me tell you about what you need to do about Joginder. The Guru says, what? Ja rehna nahi. Who knows the panktiyan? Say it with me. Ja rehna nahi aat jag ta kait garb handiye. Now that means the Guru says, if you're not going to remain in this world, meaning when you leave here, that very person you're embarrassed of to lie flat on the floor, on the ground before the Guru says, Ja rehna nahi at jag. Are they going to come with you? Has anybody said, I'll see you through this one, don't worry? You know, when you close your eyes and you drop dead, I got your back, bro. Main onna? Doesn't matter how much you claim to love me, Balvinder. You ain't going to come. I know. All right. Right. Because the Guru says, Chad khodote khine mahe jinsyo lagga her. Chad khodote. We leave them standing, those very ones that we are attached to. Those very ones that were judging us, that we were embarrassed to do such acts in front of. And you know what? We're here to break that. We're here to break that, those layers of ego that we are trying to protect. Because you know what? The essence of meditation is becoming egoless. It doesn't matter how you do it. Whether you do it through reciting a mantra, whether you do it through saying Vaheguru, whether you do it through singing, whether you do it through cleaning somebody's feet, it's irrelevant. We're all trying to get to that state where we don't identify with my body, I'm a speaker. I'm so great. Oh, look at you lot down there. The essence of meditation is when we're in that state, when we don't identify with these false identities, these false layers. And we experience everything to be one. Ja rehna nahi at jag. If you're not going to remain in this world, then why? Garbahandiya, why are you so stuck in your own pride of, oh my God, what are they going to say if I stand here for like 30 seconds? And what? And you know what? Because I tell you what, when you're struggling in your life, they're not going to be able to jump into your brain and suddenly fix you. So don't worry about them. That's why Kabirji said, if you're truly serious about this path, you've got to go crazy. Baba main bora. He said, I'm crazy. Sab khalak siyani main, you guys are the intelligent ones. Yeah, you've got it all right. He said, I'm crazy. In my craziness, I don't care if I stand there for half an hour with my hands together. In my craziness, I don't care if I lie here before a great saint, before another Gursik, before Guru Granth Sahib Ji, before, even if somebody isn't a Gursik, but it's just another beautiful human being that you just lie before because you are so taken back by their service to the world. You know, I was saying to somebody one day, it was actually to myself, I was just trying to think who to have that conversation with. I did say to somebody today, actually, and wanted to do this as a post, but I thought maybe people will misinterpret it. And I was saying that just we should talk here openly about our demerits and some of the little victories that we have too, right? And today, I normally talk about my demerits, but I'm going to talk about my little victories. Victory today. But I'll tell you why I'm going to talk about it. Because I was almost afraid to admit it to myself and anyone else. And you'll see why and how. And recently, you know, when you talk to different people in life, you watch different things, you watch different podcasts from people from different walks of life, and they're not the same color as me. They don't identify with the same faith that I identify with. And I look at them and I think, you know what, we're all the same. I just see human beings. I don't see religion anymore. I don't see color anymore. Guru Gobind Singh Ji said, Namastang Amajbe, that our true self is beyond religion. We use religion to help us to get to our soul that hasn't got a religion. Isn't that true? Religion is a means of getting rid of the false identities that I've started to identify with. It's a path, it's a means to get to that egoless state. Because the more we are concerned, but what will such and such say when I practice my devotion in this way and I just let go, the more we get concerned and caught up. The Guru says, Jo jo challe, chubbe, dukh paave, jamakal seh sir, danda hai. Where's this from? Let's just make sure everyone's alert. What Bani is this from? Jo jo challe, chubbe, dukh paave, jamakal seh sir danda hai. What Bani is this from? Sorry? Amazing. So put your hands up if it clicked in you straight away that it was from Sohaila Sahib. All right, now put your hands up if it didn't click straight away that it was from Sohaila Sahib. All right, thank you for your honesty. Because normally when I do get Sangat to put their hands up and whatever, you find there's a lot of Sangat that lies that sit here. They don't put their hands up any other time. I'm thinking like, obviously, like, you're bloody lying. Look what happens. Sometimes we come to this house and we get so embarrassed, but if I just sing my heart out, if I do just sit there with my hands folded together, then what will somebody say? What? Guru saying, no, we're here. Don't expand. Don't let your ego go deeper. Don't get more entangled and identified with that identity. Jojo challa. What are we talking about here? The ego, the deeper it goes inside of us, you know, it's talking about a kanda, a thorn. So, you know, sometimes when you get a thorn in your foot, like, I'm sure there's other crazy people out there, like me as well, that go out walking barefoot on the grass and on soil. Any of you do things like that? Yeah, there you go. Right? And so, yeah, and my wife's forever telling me, just put some shoes on then, right? And I always get something stuck in my foot. I remember when I was a kid once, actually, like, my foot was really hurting, and I was about 8, 9 years old, and it just kept getting worse and worse, and then we had to get it x-rayed, and there was a little, like, needle that had broken into half and gone into my foot, and it was traveling deeper in, and so they cut it out and they took it out and all of that. But our ego's like that, the Guru says. Jojo challa chubba. It starts to cause more and more pain the more and more we identify with that ego and start to believe that is me. Oh, I am Pracharak. This is all I am. I'm the speaker. जो जो चले चुब्बे दुख पावे जमकाल सह सिर डंडा है. Devotion. So the formula is there. When we sing with devotion, and we let go. I was asked to do, and you know what? It's amazing. I've got to say, I was going to pretend to just carry on there for a minute, but like, you know what? Like we do this weekly Japji Sahib on Zoom, and we do these sessions called contemplation sessions, and we're contemplating Japji Sahib at the moment. And there's a Penji here that come to the session, so we've not met before, but she just had a big smile on her face, and it was just amazing to see that Sangat come together that we've just been seeing online, and now we're all here together, some of us as well. Singh Ji, I was asked to do a talk about 8-9 years ago, and so it was my very early days when I just started doing talks, and I was asked to do a talk, and that they said that all the different Jathebandis are going to come together. So meaning people from different sects of Sikhi are going to come together. And I was like early 30s, probably 31, 2, and just recently had started doing talks. And it was going to be a big smargam, and it was going to have the greatest of Gursikhs there that come to speak about Naam. They said, we want you to all speak about Naam from your perspective or from the sect you are coming from. And I was like, oh my God, I panicked. I was like, there's going to be Gyani Gurdev Singh Ji there that are going to be speaking from Taksal. There's going to be Gyani Kuljit Singh there from Taksal. There's going to be Bhai Tarsem Singh, Bhai Jarnail Singh from Katha and Kirtan Jatha. And then there's going to be this young new kid on the block that has to rock up and speak in front of these great Gursikhs representing Nanaksar. I was like, the lineage of Baba Nand Singh, Baba Ishar Singh was like, oh, what am I going to do here? So I was so scared. And there's one thing that the Mahapurkha that I was blessed to do Sangat with. So the saint that I was blessed to do Sangat with. And I'll tell you what, this Mahapurkha was so amazing. I remember one time, Sangat Ji, I was sitting in the Sangat like this. I'll tell you about a demerit now. You know the thoughts that we have. I was sitting in the Sangat, somebody was doing Rehras, and I thought, what do you think I thought? I can do it better than that. I was about 19, coming to 20, so that was, 21 years ago, right? And I know a lot of you thinking, Baj, but you look 21. How can you have been 21 years ago? No, like, yeah, I'm sorry, like, I'm going to be 41. And I thought, I could do it better than that. And then the Mahapurkha that I did Sangat with by Bhaiji Baba Gajjan Singh came off stage. It was a thought, looked at me. Kalum tu pad lein. He says, why don't you read it tomorrow then? I went, and you know what? I was so arrogant. I went, all right then. And then, but before they walked off, they said something amazing to me. They said, you know your thoughts. They said, you don't need to go running to people. They said, the Guru will read your thoughts. And you just ask the Guru. I didn't quite get it then. And when I was asked to do this talk, like 10 years later, by the way, I did do the Radas the next day. I was very confident and arrogant. And Bhaiji, I was in the Diwan, Bhaiji was in the Langar hall, so in the next room, and shouting at me from the next room, saying, you idiot, have you ever done Radas before? Look how many mistakes you're making. Jo jo challe, chubbe dukh paave. And they said, you can sit behind the guy that does it and learn from him for 1 month and highlight all your mistakes. So nowadays, like back in those days, like you just couldn't say anything back. And it's just like, oh my God, you just put your hands together. And if you do try and say something back, they probably throw something in your face. Nowadays, it's the student telling the teacher, don't talk to me like that. Anyway, 10 years later, and I thought, how am I going to talk about Naam? Because this talk's meant to be about Sikhi and meditation. But what's the essence of meditation? I said, I don't know how I'm going to talk, but I said yes, and then I thought, I'm not going to be able to do this. At our house, we've got Sanchiyan, so we're Guru Granth Sahib Ji in 2 parts, and I did Ardas. I said, Maharaj, I don't know what Naam is. Naam constantly comes up in Guru Granth Sahib Ji. I've tried to understand it, contemplate it, and I understand that the word Naam itself comes up in different contexts within Gurbani, but in the context of the essence of it. And yeah, I know there's parts where it comes up as the divine law, but in the context of meditation, like, what is it? I did Ardas, and I took a Hukam Naam, and I said, Maharaj, tell me, what is Naam? And Bhagat Ravidas said, they said, Naam is Jab hum hote, tab tu nahi. Ab tu hi, main nahi. Jab hum. Hum here means ego. Until my ego exists and I'm still stuck in this ignorance that there's me, there's I, and that's separate to everything else. Jab hum hote, tab tu nahi. You will not understand. You will not experience the creator, the essence of where you come from. You'll see everything separate to you. Jab hum hote, tab tu nahi, ab tu hi. But the moment you drop that ego, then what do you experience? You experience Sat Naam. What do you experience? Sat Naam. You experience the truth. That's the essence of meditation. Sat Naam. You now identify with the true name, which is the truth. Jab hum hote, tab tu, ab tu hi main nahi, because now there's no me. You've all heard the famous shabad, Madho, hum aise, tum aisa. Hum papi, tum papakhanda. What does papi mean? Sinner. Right? Hum papi. Who's the sinner? Who's hum? The ego. When I'm stuck in that little ego of mine, that's when I make a mess of life. That's when I'm creating more and more pain for myself. Hum aise, tu aisa. Hum papi, tum papakhandan. You are the destroyer of sins. When I start leaving my ego, then I start falling into this beautiful dance of hukam, of play of yours. So who wants to dance? No, it's not a question, right? Namo, namo, nirt, nirte. What does nirt mean? It means dance. Guru Gobind Singh Ji saying that Namo Nirte Nirte, that God is the dancer of all dancers. That within the dance is that true dancer. This whole creation is a dance of that dancer. And we need to just flow into that dance. We need to become a part of that dance. Namo Nirte Nirte. So Sangat Ji, coming back to what we were talking about, Bhagat Kabir Ji slok. Why do we sing here? So it embeds into us. What's our way out? What's one of the ways out that Kabir Ji give us from being trapped in that greed? What comes after in that slok? Remember, Guru Ramdas ji said, Jin Satgur ki agya sat. The Guru's, what the Guru is telling us is Sat is the truth. The Guru said, Sat karmani, that you embrace it into your life to such an extent that it becomes true in your life. So what's one of those things we want to make true in our life? Jehe khema tehe aap. What does Kabir ji say? You want to escape? They said one of the things for you to do in your life, Jehe khema tehe aap. Say it with me. Is it coming up? Oh. Sorry. What are you? Uncle ji uthi jande to koi get somebody a bit like, you know, on it. You keep getting Uncle ji up and down. Right. Jaha lob tah kaala hai, jaha khima teh aap. Yeah. Jeh khima teh aap. What's khima? What's khima, Mataji? Forgiveness. What's forgiveness? Sorry? It could come from a place of love. What is forgiveness? Because you know what? We talk a lot about these things, don't we? But a lot of the time we're not able to identify what these things are, so then we're left with not knowing how to do it. Jaha khima teh aap. How would you describe forgiveness? Ben, you're like the star student today because you're like trying so hard, so you just keep going. How would you describe it? Acceptance. Let's keep going. I'm not saying that's wrong. That's just a polite way of saying it's not enough. Yeah, these are really fancy terms, surrendering of the ego. Right. Benji, how would you describe it? Because it could be described. I'm sure we all get into the same thing, but it could be described in different ways. Benji? Okay. Look, I'm going to give it an attempt, right? And don't say this isn't a final description of it. The way I see it is when I'm not in forgiveness, what am I doing? I'm holding on to some level of bitterness towards something or someone. It's letting go of that bitterness. Once I let that go, it's going to serve me. But Kabir ji is saying something amazing. Somebody could have done something really nasty to someone. I don't like to word things like that, but let's just talk. Sometimes, I've been thinking about this a lot lately. Sometimes so careful in the way we word some things that we sometimes miss what we're trying to say. So let's not be careful the way we say it. Let's just say it and then explain what we're trying to say. Sometimes we get caught up in language too much and we forget and we come away from the essence. Someone's done something to you, right? Something's happened, a situation, a scenario, and it could be extreme. It doesn't mean we're not going to learn from it. It doesn't mean we're not going to be active towards it. It doesn't mean we're not going to do nothing about it. But forgiveness is when I let go of that bitterness towards it. And I don't want bad for that person anymore. And instead, I'm saying, I want even you to experience the grace of God. I want even your heart to be filled and well up with love. That's forgiveness. But it doesn't mean I'm not going to take active steps towards resolving a situation. Forgiveness is purely an internal process. And the moment you do that, you are experiencing who? God. Some people don't like the word God, but for me, I'm comfortable with the word God, because when I say God, I'm talking about that one that is embedded in every part of us. That one that is everything. It's important for us to define these things. Which context am I saying something in? You can experience God in this moment. Right now, you can make your singing fruitful. गाव्या सुनया तिनका हर थाएं पावे जिन सतगुर की आज्ञा सत सत. Make it true in your life what we sing. Who's better off? The one that sings it 100 times over in the day and doesn't let go, or the one that's not even necessarily sang it but lets go of that bitterness? Who's better off? The first one or the second one? Yeah. Where would you like to be? I'd like to be with the second one. Who'd like to be part of the second one? And we're with God then. And we're in the state of then, we're in the essence of meditation then. Because meditation is an umbrella term. Because there's many forms to meditation. And I didn't plan this talk to be this way. But conversations I've had today earlier on, and it's gone this way. Because it doesn't have to look like that. It doesn't have to look like that. But we all want to get there. And it doesn't matter how we get there. It can happen through you reciting Waheguru. For some it might not, let's be honest. Some are still filled with rage that are sitting there saying Waheguru 100 times over. Let's not lie to ourselves. What I say to people is that I'm not being controversial, I'm just saying what most of you are thinking and are afraid to say. And that's why we got an increase of mental health, because you're suppressing what you feel and think. And that's meditation. When you're in that place, jab hum hote tab tu nahi, ab tu hi main nahi, anil agam, lahar main uddat, jal keval jal mahi. I'm going to share a little sakhi with you, and we'll sing a shabad. Somebody came to Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji Sache Paatshah. He was yearning and longing for God. But he was one of the honest ones that said, he came to Guru Har Gobind Sahib, he had that level of authenticity. He said, listen, Guru Sahib Ji, I'm a Muslim. I read my 5 namazan, I read my prayers, all 5 of them. I'm dedicated, I'm disciplined. That could be us. I read my Japaji, I do my Panjapaniya. And he said, but I'm still fighting my demons. I still have these battles and I'm not experiencing God. And he said, even though we are told that you go and meet God after death, he goes, but for me, no, it's got to be, I want to experience God now. Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji said, look, just go over there. You know what? They said, go in the stables and just clean up after the horses. Just get away from here. Move away from it. Guru kende, and remember, he could have thought, you know what, I'm from a different faith. And you know, today somebody comes here to the Gurdwara from a different faith and we'll try and run around them, make sure they're welcome, feel comfortable, and we should. But imagine, and then the Guru's like saying, yeah, just move, go to the stables, yeah, all right, just get on with it. Go and clean up. His name was Khwaja Roshan. And that's all he did. Jin Sadgur ki agya sat karmani. He took the Guru's word and he made it true in his life. This became his form of meditation, to fall into the state of being constantly meditative and going into that state of being beyond your ego. He just started cleaning up whatever he'd find, he'd look around and clean up. Maharaji would come every day and they'd go and take their horses from the stables. And Maharaji would jump on the horse and then ride away. And every time Maharaj came to jump on a horse, what would he do? Kar sadhu, Anjali. He'd put his hands together. Devotion. Sangji, like, we think, oh, these things are just rituals. No, they're not. These are practices of devotion that will actually really highlight, really get something going inside of you. Try it. Sit in the morning at home and just sit there. Just put your hands together. Whatever you want to envision. For some people it will be they'll try and envision the Guru in some form. Somebody will envision nothing. Somebody will envision the Sangat. And they just put your hands together. He would just stand there like this to Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji. Every day. He'd just clean the horses and he'd just stand there like this. And he'd just bow his head down. Kar sadhu anjali pun banda hai. He didn't stop. They'd say, if you want to see Khwaja Roshan, he's in the stables. Where does he sleep? He sleeps in the stables. What's Khwaja Roshan do? He's cleaning the horses. One day, his devotion went to such a level. Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji came. They jumped on a horse and they started to ride away, and Khwaja Roshan said, not today. Today, I can't bear for you to be away from my eyes. Today, it feels like that something is killing me from inside, seeing you ride away from my eyes. You know, Kabir Ji said that, Mere Baba main Baura. I'm crazy. The path of devotion is the quickest path to God. But you have to go crazy. He started running after Guru Har Gobind Sahib. Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji got many Gursikhs with them, riding with them. Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji is riding. The other Gursikhs see that Khwaja Roshan, this Muslim, is there running after Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji, but and they're saying to Guru Sahib, they're scared as well. They're saying, Guru Sahib is like, he's running after you, and Guru Sahib just ignores them. Guru Sahib Ji carry on riding their horse. He carries on running after Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji. And 2 miles later, Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji stopped their horse. I remember, when you envision this, Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji is 6'7". They're wearing these 2 swords. They've got this beautiful damala, royal turban. They get off their horse and their face is radiant. Namo Surj, Namo Chandra, like the sun of, it's like Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji is given light to the sun. They turn around and they just look at him, smile at him. And Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji, and he's there running, he's crying his eyes out. He said that, I can't let you leave my eyes. Be away from my eyes. Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji Pacha Ji, with their tall, with their long arms, put their arms out like this. There's Khwaja. This is Gale lag ja. They said, come into my embrace. Khwaja Roshan walks over to Guru Har Gobind Sahib. And Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji takes him into their embrace. Kantalai Avguna Sab Mete Tyal Purk Bakshin. It felt like all his sins had been washed in that very moment. Every pore of his body is vibrating with the name of God. And Guru Har Gobind Sahib said, Nihal ho gaya. Nihal ho gaya. They said, that's it, you're done. They said that every little bit of ego inside of you is gone. You're one with God. And he said, Guru Sahib, you are everything. Guru Sahib said, now you go and spread the word of Naam, of this connection to God. That's how he got there. It doesn't matter how we get there, but it's about getting to jab hum hote tab tu, nahi ab tu hi main, nahi. It will look different for everyone, for some similar, but that's our destination. He surrendered to the Guru's word incomplete, and the Guru embraced him. So I did ask them to prepare the Shabad Gur Satgur ka jo Sikh akhai so pal ke ut har naam te aave, but I didn't actually go through that Shabad. Instead, we went through Jin Satgur ki agya sat sat karmani. So if you're going to take anything away today, take away that don't be concerned about what people around you are going to say. Open your heart to that path of devotion. Go crazy. If it means you want to stand here with your hands together, stand here with your hands together. When you cry, cry. Not half-heartedly, not Can you go get Baji? Forget Baji, just cry. Yeah? Just cry. If you want to laugh, laugh. People think you come here and you're not allowed to laugh. Guru Gobind Singh Ji, a part of their 52 poets, they used to have poets that were comedians. They used to get them to write poetry which was full of humor. And sometimes they'd just have hours of just laughter. And today, sometimes we come here and we think, Chup karke baja. No, just come here with devotion, laugh with that color of love. Yeah? Guru Sahib Ji say to us that. Laugh, rang hasse. Does that make sense? Rang hasse. What does that mean? Laugh. What does the rang mean? Color. Laugh with color. What color? Sorry? Yeah, laugh with the color of love. What color is love? Oh, got you there. What color is love? Sorry? Colors. Love is colorless. Because love has no blemish. Love is pure. When you're in love, there's no arrogance. You don't look down on anyone. There's no bitterness. The Guru said, laugh in love. Rang hasse. Rang rove. Cry in love. Chup pi kar jahe. Remain in silence, in love. Sometimes, you know, when you meet up with each other and you think it's awkward, and if it's silent for a while, then you think, oh my God, somebody speak, somebody speak. Who's ever been in that situation? Thank God, for God's sake, somebody to speak. But you know what? They say that when those that used to be on the path of spirituality or Gursikhs, they'd come together, sometimes they'd just sit there and look at each other because they could feel the vibration. I remember when two Mahapurukhs came together, Baba Gurdev Singh and Baba Jagjit Singh Harko Wale, Baba Gurdev Singh Nanak Sar Wale, Baba Jagjit Singh Harko Wale. And everyone was like, oh wow, these two great Mahapurukhs, they meet. All the Sangat came and surrounded to see what they're going to say to each other. And I was blessed to be there in that moment. It was about 20 years ago. And again, you guys are thinking you was one? No, I was 20. Right? And they just sat in front of each other with full, like sat in posture, and they just looked at each other for about 20 minutes. And you could just see that love, that vibration. There's no words exchanged. And there was something deeper communicating. It was just a scene. It was like, wow. And just in the end, Baba Gurdev Singh said, is there anything? Is there anything left, remaining? And they said, Baba Jagjit Singh said, no, I'm complete. I was just like, wow. That was it. That was the conversation done. let's let go and start laughing from the core of our being, from that pure place of love. When you want to cry, cry. Like, when we're watching a movie, my wife will just be looking over to me. She's like, oh, you're going to cry again. You're going to cry again. And then sometimes she spoiled it so much. You're going to cry. You're going to cry. And you think, oh my God. It's okay. But Sangat Ji, I've been doing Katha for about 10 years. And a lot of Sangat is used to me doing Katha very emotionally, very loud. I can't, I just can't do loud anymore. I just come here and talk to you. I'm a part of the Sangat. I'm on the same journey as you. I've got my own battles and my own demons, but I do ardas, and I'm on this path together with the Sangat, that each and every day my heart opens more and I truly get to experience living a life filled with devotion. Devotion can come when you practice it towards one particular direction in the beginning. For someone it's Guru Granth Sahib Ji. For somebody it's their child. For somebody it's their parent. Somebody it's the horse. It's the stables. But eventually, the more you keep doing it towards that direction and your heart opens, you'll even drink water with love and devotion. I can guarantee you'll get to a point in your life when you've got a glass of water in your hand, that moment will become divine. Because you'll be looking at it, you'll say, Anna Devata, Pani Devata. Even this water is a form of God. And you'll bow your head before that water and you'll drink it with love. That's when you know you're now living in devotion. That's where we all want to get to. They can sing whatever shabad they want. So jo vi tade man vich haga jo vi tusi shabad gauna, whatever shabad you want to sing, let's sing this shabad and let's sing our hearts out. Gaviye, suniye, man rakhiye, pav, filled with devotion. Let's sing.
Vahe Guru Ji, Vahe Guru Sahib Ji, Gur Satgur Ka जो सिख अखाए, गुर सतगुर का जो सिख अखाए, सो पहल के उठ हर नाम ते आवे, गुर सतगुर का सिख अखाए, गुर सतगुर का जो सिख अखाए, सो पहल के उठ हर नाम ते आवे, गुर सतगुर का जो सिख अखाए, के प्रभाती उद्यम करे, पल के प्रभाती स्नान करे, अमृत सरनावे, स्नान करे, अमृत सरनावे, सतगुर का ਸਿੱਖ ਅਖਾਏ ਗੁਰ ਸਤਿਗੁਰ ਕਾ, ਜੋ ਸਿੱਖ ਅਖਾਏ ਸੋ ਪਲ ਕੇ ਉਠ ਹਰ ਨਾਮ ਤੇ ਆਵੇ ਗੁਰ ਸਤਿਗੁਰ ਕਾ, ਜੋ ਸਿੱਖ ਅਖਾਏ। ਉਪਦੇਸ਼ ਗੁਰੂ ਹਰ ਹਰ ਜਪ ਜਾਪੈ, ਜਪ ਜਾਪੈ। ਉਪਦੇਸ਼ ਗੁਰੂ ਹਰ 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 ਜਾਪੈ, ਉਪਦੇਸ਼ ਗੁਰੂ ਹਰ ਹਰ ਜਪ ਜਾਪੈ, ਸਭ ਕਿਲ ਵਿਖ ਪਾਪ ਦੋਖ ਲੈ ਜਾਵੇ, ਸਭ ਕਿਲ ਵਿਖ ਪਾਪ ਦੋਖ ਲੈ ਜਾਵੇ ਗੁਰ ਸਤਿਗੁਰ ਕਾ, ਜੋ ਸਿੱਖ ਅਖਾਏ ਗੁਰ ਸਤਿਗੁਰ ਕਾ, ਜੋ ਸਿੱਖ ਅਖਾਏ ਸੋ ਪਲ ਕੇ ਉਠ ਹਰ ਨਾਮ ਤੇ ਆਵੇ, ਸੋ ਪਲ ਕੇ ਉਠ ਹਰ ਨਾਮ ਤੇ ਆਵੇ ਗੁਰ ਸਤਿਗੁਰ ਕਾ, ਜੋ ਸਿੱਖ ਅਖਾਏ ਗੁਰ ਸਤਿਗੁਰ ਕਾ, ਜੋ ਸਿੱਖ ਅਖਾਏ। ਉਪਦੇਸ਼ ਗੁਰੂ ਹਰ ਹਰ ਜਪ ਜਾਪੈ, ਸਭ ਕਿਲ ਵਿਖ ਪਾਪ ਦੋਖ ਲੈ ਜਾਵੇ, ਦੋਖ ਲੈ ਜਾਵੇ। ਫਿਰ ਚੜੇ ਦਿਵਸ ਗੁਰਬਾਣੀ ਗਾਵੇ, ਚੜੇ ਦਿਵਸ ਗੁਰਬਾਣੀ ਗਾਵੇ, ਬਹਿੰਦਿਆਂ ਉੱਠਦਿਆਂ ਹਰ ਨਾਮ ਤੇ ਆਵੇ, ਬਹਿੰਦਿਆਂ ਉੱਠਦਿਆਂ ਹਰ ਨਾਮ ਤੇ ਆਵੇ ਗੁਰ ਸਤਿਗੁਰ ਕਾ, ਜੋ ਸਿੱਖ ਅਖਾਏ ਸਤਿਗੁਰ ਕਾ, ਜੋ ਸਿੱਖ ਅਖਾਏ ਗੁਰ ਸਤਿਗੁਰ ਕਾ, ਗੁਰ ਸਤਿਗੁਰ ਕਾ, ਜੋ ਸਿੱਖ ਅਖਾਏ ਸੋ ਭਲ ਕੇ ਉਠ ਹਰ ਨਾਮ ਧਿਆ, ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ 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 ਜੋ ਸਾਸ ਗਿਰਾਸ ਜੋ ਸਾਸ ਗਿਰਾਸ ਧਿਆਏ ਮੇਰਾ ਹਰ ਹਰ ਜੋ ਸਾਸ ਗਿਰਾਸ ਧਿਆਏ ਮੇਰਾ ਹਰ ਹਰ ਸੋ ਗੁਰ ਸਿੱਖ ਗੁਰੂ ਮਨ ਭਾਵੈ ਸੋ ਗੁਰ ਸਿੱਖ ਗੁਰੂ ਮਨ ਭਾਵੈ ਜਿਸ ਨੂੰ ਦਇਆ ਹੋਵੇ ਮੇਰਾ ਸੁਆਮੀ ਜਿਸ ਨੂੰ ਦਇਆ ਹੋਵੇ ਮੇਰਾ ਸੁਆਮੀ ਤਿਸ ਗੁਰੂ ਉਪਦੇਸ਼ ਸੁਣਾਏ ਤਿਸ ਗੁਰ ਸਿੱਖ ਉਪਦੇਸ਼ ਸੁਣਾਏ ਗੁਰ ਸਤਿਗੁਰ ਕਾ ਜੋ ਸਿੱਖ ਅਖਾਏ ਗੁਰ ਸਤਿਗੁਰ ਕਾ ਜੋ ਸਿੱਖ ਅਖਾਏ ਸੋ ਭਲ ਕੇ ਉਠ ਹਰ ਨਾਮ ਤੇ ਆਵੇ ਗੁਰ ਸਤਿਗੁਰ ਕਾ ਜੋ ਸਿੱਖ ਅਖਾਏ ਗੁਰ ਸਤਿਗੁਰ ਕਾ ਜੋ ਸਿੱਖ ਅਖਾਏ ਜਨ ਨਾਨਕ ਧੂੜ ਮੰਗੇ ਤਿਸ ਗੁਰ ਸਿੱਖ ਕੀ ਜਨ ਨਾਨਕ ਧੂੜ ਮੰਗੇ ਤਿਸ ਗੁਰ ਸਿੱਖ ਕੀ ਜੋ ਆਪ ਜਪੈ ਅਵਰੇ ਨਾਮ ਜਪਾਏ ਜੋ ਆਪ ਜਪੈ ਅਵਰੇ ਨਾਮ ਜਪਾਵੇ ਗੁਰ ਸਤਿਗੁਰ ਕਾ ਜੋ ਸਿੱਖ ਅਖਾਏ ਗੁਰ ਸਤਿਗੁਰ ਕਾ ਜੋ ਸਿੱਖ ਅਖਾਏ ਸੋ ਭਲ ਕੇ ਉਠ ਹਰ ਨਾਮ ਤੇ ਆਵੇ ਸੋ ਭਲ ਕੇ ਉਠ ਹਰ ਨਾਮ राम कली महला तीजा आनंद को अंकार सतगुर प्रसाद मेरी माए आनंद पया मेरी माए आनंद पया मेरी माए आनंद पया सतगुरु मैं पाया सतगुरु मैं पाया मेरी माए आनंद पया मेरी माए आनंद पया आनंद पया मेरी माए सतगुरु मैं पाया सतगुर ता पाया सहज सिद्धि मन वजिया बधाई राग रतन परवार परियां शब्द गावन आए शब्दो तगावो हरि केरा मन जनी बसाए कहे नानक आनंद होआ सतगुरु मैं पाया ए मन मेरे तू सदा रो हर नाल रहो तो मन मेरे दुख सब विसार अंगीकारो करे तेरा कार्य सब सवार सबना गला समरथ स्वामी सो क्यों मनो विसारे कहे नानक मन मेरे सदा रो हर नाले साचे साहिबा क्या नहीं करते करता तेरे सब किछ है जिस दे सो पावे सदा सिफत सलाह तेरी नाम मन वसावे नाम जिनके मन वसया बाजे शब्द कनेरे कहे नानक सच्चे साहिब क्या नहीं करते साचा नाम मेरा आधार सच नाम आधार मेरा जिन भुखा सब गवाई कर शांत सुख मन आए वसया जिन इच्छा सब पुजाइया सदा गुरबानी किता कुर बिट हो जिस रिया है वडियाइया कहे नानक सुनो संतो शब्द रो प्यारो साचा नाम मेरा आधारो वाजे पंच शब्द कार सुभागे शब्द वाजे कला जित कर धारिया पंच दूत दिवस कीते काल कंटक मारे सुर करम पाया जिन तो से नाम हर के लागे कहे नानक जय सुख हो आतित करे अनंद वाजे आनंद सुनो वट भागियो सकल मनोरथ पूरे पार ब्रह्म प्रभ पाया उतरे सगल विसूरे दुख रोग संताप उतरे सुनी सच्ची बाणी संत साजन पे सरसे पूरे गुरते जानी संत साजन पे सरसे पूरे गुरते जानी सुनते पुनित कहते पवित्र सतगुर रहया पर पूरे बिनवंत नानक गुर चरण लागे वाजे अनहद तूरे जी आनंद सुनो वड भागियो श्लोक पावन गुरु पाणी पिता माता धरत महत दिवस रात दोए दाई दा खेले सगल जगत चंगियाइयां बुरियाइयां वाचे धर्म हदू करमी आपो अपनी के नेड़े के दूर जिन्नी नाम ते आया गए मशक्कत काल नानक ते मुख उजले केती छुट्टी नाल नानक ते मुख उजले केती छुट्टी नाल
वाहिगुरु जी का खालसा वाहिगुरु जी की फतेह। तू ठाकुर तुम है पे अरदास जियो पिंड सब तेरी रास।
मात पिता हम बारक तुमरी कृपा में कोई न जान